Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl.
You don't want to know what happened.
Huh? Take it easy.
What's me? Oh my god. No, no, you can't.
No, wait! Just a second! Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're...
Did all this happen?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. You were just about to be... I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only were it not for their intervention.
Wait! Did you say Oceanids?
Perhaps those 2...
I always told...
Please come with me.
Neverlet, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right.
Why do you look so... Oh, Paimon, no...
I merely thought that...
Huh?
Ah, Sijui?
No way!
I see.
Oh, and...
Thank you.
So... Neverlet...
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. They had even transported a large quantity of supplies to the area. Amid my...
Yeah!
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
Oh, look! Another one just the bus! Let's keep going then!
Rain outlines your fate. Busted. Nada Kundala.
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step! Watch out! They're about
Busted! Let me leave you abreast. No, my sword! Time to act.
Here's on fire!
Dada Kundala.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden space.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here.
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty
The surrounding walls also show signs of...
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason?
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean that Fontaine should be...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated.
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image?
And is that a ring of people around her?
The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just... This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really...
Still... Paimon...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the 3rd, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person in the 2nd image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? And also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents, could this place be the origin of the prophecy?
But who would have created these slates
It seems that any further clues will have to come from
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else to...
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
let's split up here.
You still have energy for that?
Just head back to the Fluvsandre.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard traveler. I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my...
Are you really gonna talk to her about...
She has long been harboring secrets and will not give...
Alright, we'll leave...
I will be carefully considering my...
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fluvsandre is open. All right.
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a...
Yay! And there's good food too! Navi, no, the boss is the best! Ooh, desserts! Hyman's already starting to forget what happened today.
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine? Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just...
Still, we didn't expect to see you here!
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you. Quite unexpectedly, if I might add. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname?
Yeah, let's go with that!
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name.
Oh shit.
There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my surprise, however, Magistus is not the name of some ancient house or clan.
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it generally just means great.
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait, are you gonna have to put that into your genealogy as well?
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one. Does it also mean great or something?
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice as great Scholar of the Stars. Just take it as a title specific to astrologists.
Thrice as great? That's so petty.
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually, but when she took me in, she changed her name to Trismegistus.
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look at...
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dorman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while, after which I settled down and...
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know you won't...
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here. There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone expected Fontaine to be in this much trouble.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist.
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns the fate of Fontaine, even that of all Tevat. Ascertaining this is akin to reading the fortune of the whole world. I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. If I could do it, you would no longer call me an astrologist, but a visionary. But on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come from a powerful visionary. Its contents involve...
A visionary? Sounds really powerful and...
Of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar. All right, I'll help you. It isn't often that I see you with such a serious look on your face. I'll tell you once I hear back from her.
Thanks, Mona! You're amazing as always!
Oh, well, this is something only I can do after all. So...
That's the greatest of astrologists for you! Of all the people we know, you know this stuff!
Indeed! That's the spirit.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need...
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now. If I receive any news, I'll be sure to come find you two again.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help, didn't we? Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling kind but it's time to get up, traveler.
You're here! Finally!
Is something...
Monsieur Durvalette and Lady Farina, they seem to have got...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson...
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen. I will say this once more. You must tell me Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you...
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know any... But you found them in some ancient ruin?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to...
The prophet...
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of...
I don't! I've never seen such slates!
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but...
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. And that's all I have to say. We do not Oh! The opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't...
I assume you've been outside for—
Oh! You know...
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again. A state of affairs still I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no—
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that—
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then— If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must— This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this. But who will lend us their aid?
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what family should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded, don't—
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh? How intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand. And used on the spot. So...
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with it.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society. Taking up on a trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the prey. So, if we were to build a trap together, right?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so...
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some...
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit.
And I can be there.
With discretion, I'm sure.
நீ சாப்பிட்டதே கேட்கறதா இருக்குமா இப்போ கேட்கற பாரு இப்போ என்ன கர்மம் என்ன இருக்கு உனக்கு அஞ்சு நாள் போயிருக்கோம் அத்தா பண்ணிருப்பாரு அத்தா பண்ணதான் எங்க அத்தா பண்ணிருப்பேன் அதுதான் ஏறி யோசிச்சு பார்க்கணும் ஏன் கண்டு கட்டிட்டு அத்தா பண்ணிருப்பேடா சப்மிட் ட்ரைனிங் எங்க அத்தா பண்ணிருப்பேன்
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any... But I do have one more question for you, monsieur. If we were to create a trap now...
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle...
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why is that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceeding...
So...
We hadn't thought of seeing our...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting method... But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so that's what's going on.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Hyman didn't think the meetings would go on. Hyman thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Hyman thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised. It's hard to say. Hyman doesn't have any. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Hyman didn't. Then what's that? Hyman's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything.
Who's that voice?
Ah, have you forgotten?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then...
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Teyvat so easily be changed? So just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods gave are the things that you shall see different from the...
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
The voice. Alright. Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own
Did she have pink hair?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. You remember her, right? That daredevil journalist. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Hyman's glad to hear something.
Yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots.
The Hex and Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live so...
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels...
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as but even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful. Perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set in stone. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when...
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff... I need to get... It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like... Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk. Our names are written in this... Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble... My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blonde adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler, journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail, World Walker. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead? Ugh, seriously? Well... Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it, despite the tense situation.
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after... Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Neuvillette was right. You really can.
Wait, did I really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here and—
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe—
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me— No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call—
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being—
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You—
And there she goes! Alright, let's dig in. Paimon should— It's more delicious! Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious— Oh! We're near the Seabird office! Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Toodaloo.
Cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo!
Cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Toodaloo. Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo!
Cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Toodaloo. Wanna come over for tea?
Cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Toodaloo.
Cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
One client, 2 clients, 3 clients.
Toodaloo.
Wanna come over for tea?
We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo!
We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
One client, two clients, three clients. Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo! Toodaloo. Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo! Wanna come over for tea? Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo! When the sun's out, bathe in sunlight. But when the moon's out, bathe in moonlight. Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo! Toodaloo. One client, two clients, three clients.
We cannot just rely
Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl. Woo! Toodaloo.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some.
Really?
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you out.
I see. It seems you've already bumped into So she mentioned me?
What did she said that you're a real daredevil.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legend?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things.
Yeah, are we even?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview.
Oh, in that case, we'll.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. Ooh, so much to get done.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example...
Huh, that's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland. That, from what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the... I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note...
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask. We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much. You mean still traveling? Huh. What? Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a... Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her. Loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we...
So, you mean she's still...
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything else.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, and as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, it would be hard for her to... Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to... Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back... In that case, there's not a moment to lose. This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and... Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my They even dare to doubt their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fan. That's against the rules. I can...
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her. This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before...
What? What is this?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way. I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's a good...
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson.
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some...
Yeah, I hope you're right, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just now. It all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, don't worry. I will keep hope. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, don't take any of what I just said seriously.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were...
Share my that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, if that's...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado...
So, this is what it is. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it!
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how
Lady Farina, what is the...
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed. But now, it is time Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true... This time, I will protect... Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon... Woohoo!
Oh, now we're... Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic,
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Also, please allow me to ask, As a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward.
Navia, the president of the...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the...
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. It was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open...
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt with...
That's right. It'll come.
Then, I can guess, Nervilette, you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and also that as soon as I appeared on the...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the... Oh? It's fine. It matters not. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to... Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervilette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. According to Monsieur Nervilette, I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, the words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervilette. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt. Of course, it is only natural for humans to
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking our duty, but did I hear that right?
Charge accepted. Lady Farina. Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling there. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the law.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500...
That doesn't sound... First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervalet?
Lady Farina. Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as... For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used...
reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all...
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro...
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be—
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce
my power as an Archon. There are—
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives.
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's
Hey, come now, everyone! I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Please, you've got to believe—
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a—
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say—
Wow, she came up with yet another argument! It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from—
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time now. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of—
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many—
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings—
Well, of course you had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a—
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to— that's no—
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most—
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and—
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a—
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to—
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina—
Oh, wait! What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... you... Listen to me, everyone! Please think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please, everyone! Anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, The Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume...
Any mission Father assigns to me.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't that mean...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, the second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens, this must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean the third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people? That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to some... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne. They didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater, and the first stone slate. This might be the reason that Fontanians... Perhaps what is about to take place, the true sin of the Hydro Archon and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates. it's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be... The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know if we hadn't dealt with it in time.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an ocean. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! But... then it feels like we're going...
Let's hear them.
Incredible! Linny, did you hear?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed. I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians in the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single...
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
நீங்க சொல்றத நீ எங்க போய் செஞ்ச எங்க போய் விட்டது அவனே நானும் செஞ்சிருப்பேன்